In Maxwell trial, Annie Farmer says Ghislaine fondled her in NM, but defense says, not in NY. By Matthew Russell Lee. Patron song video ruling BBC, Decrypt, Light Read, Radio, Podcast. SDNY Courthouse, December 10. Ghislaine Maxwell, charged with sex trafficking and other charges, faces a November 29, 2021 trial today, after the November 23 final pre-trial conference. Vlog here. On October 29 and again on November 12, Maxwell and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York filed a flurry of motions in limine, heavily redacted. The government argued that trial exhibits are not public and will be withheld. Inner City Press opposed and opposes the continued secrecy. On the morning of December 9, after a single FedEx witness, the prosecution asked for a discussion with Judge Nathan in her robing room. Inner City Press took the time to submit a third letter requesting a call-in line, the witness lists and flight logs, on document cloud here. When Judge Nathan returned, she sent the jurors home, at least for the day, citing an ill prosecutor who needs treatment. More on Patron here. Inner City Press live tweeted it here. On the morning of December 10, Annie Farmer testified on direct and the cross-examination started. Inner City Press live tweeted it. Podcast here. 8:55 a.m. live stream here. It's USV. Ghislaine Maxwell. Date 10. Jury finally seated. Jurors being directed to binder of sealed non-public exhibits. Assistant U.S. Attorney Rohrbach. The government calls William Brown of the NIS Department of Motor Vehicles. Also, are you aware how people receive ID cards? Brown. Yes. Also, please pick up the folder next to you. Sealed. Government exhibits. Judge Nathan, I will admit these exhibits under seal. Also, look at Defense Exhibit LD3A, it's in the front of the binder. How old in 1996 was this person? Born in 1985. Brown, 11 years old. No cross. Next witness. Also, the government calls Annie Farmer. Clerk, spell your name. Annie Farmer. Judge Nathan, I instruct you that the physical conduct you will hear about in New Mexico was not illegal sexual activity, but it may be relevant, but not of propensity. Also Pomerantz, please take out sealed exhibit 13. Also, in what state were you born? Annie Farmer, Missouri. Also, where did you get your PhD? Annie Farmer, University of Texas at Austin. Also, how old were you when Maxwell gave you a massage? Annie Farmer, I was 16. Also, what were your family's finances? Annie Farmer, my parents were divorced. I was worried how college would be paid for. Also, do you have an older sister? Annie Farmer, Maria. She's 9 years older. She was living in NYC. She was working with Jeffrey Epstein. Also, how did you travel to NYC? Annie Farmer, Jeffrey Epstein paid. I was excited to see my father. Jeffrey Epstein had said. Maxwell's lawyer, objection. Hearsay. Judge Nathan, sustained. Also, what did your sister say to you about the trip to NY? Maxwell's lawyer, objection. Hearsay. Also, effect on the listener. Judge Nathan, is this was we discussed? I'll let it in, within the scope, and I'll tell the juror this is not offered for the truth. Also, who did you thank for your ticket? Annie Farmer, Epstein. Maxwell's lawyer, objection. Hearsay. Also, I'll move on. Did you meet Jeffrey Epstein? Annie Farmer, yes, twice during this trip. Also, show the witness, the parties and the court. Gov Exhibit 101. Also, what is this? Annie Farmer, my high school yearbook photo. Annie Farmer, Epstein's home was very grand. Also, what did Epstein ask you about? Annie Farmer, my plans. He suggested UCLA and said he had connections. Early Varsity Blues? Annie Farmer, he suggested I go on an international trip to boost my application. Annie Farmer, we went to see the movie 5 Monkeys. 12. Also, where did Epstein sit? Annie Farmer, between us. Then he rubbed my leg. Also, what was your reaction? Annie Farmer, I was very surprised. I felt sick to my stomach. Annie Farmer, when Maria would look over, he would stop. The begin again. Also, did you tell your sister? Annie Farmer, number. I was confused. I knew she was protective. I knew she would be upset. She might lose her job. So I decided not to say anything. Also, did you write in your journal? Annie Farmer, I did. Also, please describe your journaling. Annie Farmer, I was not a consistent journaler, but I would sometimes write down what was happening in my life. Journal entry shown on screen. Annie Farmer reads from it about going to see Phantom of the Opera, Champagne with Epstein. Then, a later entry, we went to the movies with Jeffrey Epstein. I was weirded out, he let go of my hand when he was talking to Maria. Also, how did you feel about Epstein as you wrote this? Annie Farmer. I was conflicted. I knew it was not normal or right, but I was trying to make it seem okay. Annie Farmer journal continued, I am thinking of doing something in Africa. It was be incredible. Also, where did you next see Jeffrey Epstein? Annie Farmer, New Mexico. Also, who did you think you'd be seeing there? Maxwell's lawyer, objection, lack of foundation. Judge Nathan, sustained. Also, when you landed in New Mexico, what happened next? Annie Farmer, there was a man with a sign with my name on it. He drove us to the ranch. There, I met Ghislaine Maxwell. She was slim and attractive, in her 30s. She was an adult. Also, what did she sound like? Annie Farmer, she had a British accent. I had been told that Maxwell would be there in New Mexico and it made me more comfortable. After what happened in New York. Also, who told you Maxwell would be there? Annie Farmer, my mother. Also, what did you and Maxwell talk about? Annie Farmer, my life, my school, British authors. Also, did you leave the ranch? Annie Farmer, yes, a nature food store. Maxwell bought me henna, a western wear store, cowboy boots purchased for me. Also, what did you think of the boots? Annie Farmer, they cost over $100. I was grateful, gracious. We went to the movies. I didn't want to go because of what happened in NY, but I thought it would be different with Maxwell there. Also, for how much of the movie did he touch you? Annie Farmer, most of it. He didn't hide it. And afterward back at the ranch, Maxwell told me to rub his feet, that she'd show me how. Later Maxwell told me to get undressed and started rubbing my breasts. Annie Farmer, I wanted to get off the table. I wanted out of there. The door was open and I had the sense Epstein could see. In the morning Epstein came into my room and said he wanted to cuddle. He climbed to bed with me. I didn't like it. Also, did you tell him? Annie Farmer, number. There was no one else around. Also, what happened? Annie Farmer, I went into the bathroom and shut the door. I waited. Also, where did you go in 1996? Annie Farmer, Thailand and Vietnam, cultural immersion. Photo shown on screen of Annie Farmer and another with a small elephant with a wooden seat on it. Also, who paid for the trip? Annie Farmer, Epstein. Also, any more contact with Maxwell and Epstein? Annie Farmer, number. Also, who did you first tell? Annie Farmer, my mother, generally. Also, what did you tell your mom? Maxwell's lawyer, objection. Sidebar. The lawyers go up to whisper with Judge Nathan. Maxwell remains alone at the defense table. Today in an orange or pink sweater, rubbing her arms. They've back from the sidebar. Also, did you tell anyone else? Annie Farmer, I had a boyfriend and I told him. Also, did you speak to the media? Annie Farmer, many times. First in 2002. Also, law enforcement? Annie Farmer, 2006-07. To the FBI. Also, have you spoken with the media since? Annie Farmer, yes. Off the record in 2016 and on the record in 2019. Also, were you paid for the interviews? Annie Farmer, number. Also, were you interviewed by law enforcement in NY? Annie Farmer, yes. In 2019, in the fall I sued Epstein and Maxwell. Also, did you participate in the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund? Annie Farmer, yes. I was awarded $1.5 million. My lawyers were pro bono. Also, any financial stake in the outcome of this trial? Annie Farmer, number. Also, no further questions. Judge Nathan, cross-examination. Maxwell's lawyer Laura Menninger, good morning. Your sister is the one who arranged your travel to NY? Annie Farmer, yes. Menninger, you told the FBI that flying alone was not abnormal for you, correct? Annie Farmer, I usually had my younger sister with me when I flew to visit my father. Menninger, here's the report. Annie Farmer, I see it. Menninger, Ghislaine Maxwell had no role in your travel to NY, right? Annie Farmer, she did not. Menninger, you believed that Mr. Epstein purchased your plane ticket? Annie Farmer, yes. Menninger, you also saw the Blue Man Group and went to a flea markets with your sister, correct? Annie Farmer, yes. Menninger, in NY, Maxwell didn't take you to the Lion King, correct? Annie Farmer, She did not. And now the jury takes its mid-morning break. Inner City Press has launched #Maxwell and Mystery. Bonus #court case cast coverage will continue. More on Patreon here. On November 23 there was a final pre-trial conference and Inner City Press live tweeted it here, podcast here. Likewise, Inner City Press opposes censorship by the UN, which after it tasked UN Sec General Antonio Guterres, head of partnerships Amir Dossal was on the board of Maxwell's Terramar Foundation, was roughed up and banned from the UN. Summary here. Quinn Emanuel lawyer's letter Q&A here. On October 29, after the flurry of redacted motions, Inner City Press filed formal requests with SDNY District Judge Allison J. Nathan, on Document Cloud here. On November 12, while Maxwell and Dodge still redacting and a notice that after 50 people, no more would be admitted. Even on November 15, Inner City Press filed again. This time, both letters were docketed, appreciated, but denied. Letter on court listener here. Endorsed letter as to Ghislaine Maxwell addressed to Judge Allison J. Nathan from Matthew Russell Lee, dated October 29, 2021. Re. Timely opposition to blanket requests to seal portions of motions in limine, trial exhibits, public access. Endorsement. The court received the attached letters via email. This district no longer permits public access by telephone for in-court criminal proceedings, including trials. The memorandum can be found here. The court's public access orders for all proceedings in the case can be found here. The court has implemented a procedure for docketing filings with proposed redactions and is ruling on the proposals as expeditiously as possible. CDKT, number 401, so ordered. Signed by Judge Allison J. Nathan on November 12, 2021. Earlier on November 12, Inner City Press called into, and reported on, a January 6 case in the district for the District of Columbia, and even other in-person criminal matters in the SDNY. For November 15, only 50 people will be allowed in. Meanwhile, for example, the Kyle Rittenhouse in Wisconsin State Court is on YouTube. While engaged and appreciative on the federal SDNY beat, we'll have more on this. Here was from the October 29 request. Re. U.S. v. Maxwell, 20 CR 330, AJN. Timely opposition to blanket requests to seal portions of motions in limine, trial exhibits, public access. Dear Judge Nathan, on behalf of Inner City Press and in my personal capacity, I have been covering the above-captioned case. This concerns in the first instance the flurry of motions in limine filed earlier this evening, replete with redactions justified by a conclusory reference to Lucas v. Pyramid Company of Onondaga, 435 F.3D 110, 2D Sir. 2006. The government's justifications for redaction, docket number 399, docketed at 10:06 p.m. on Friday, October 29, cites Lucas then says the government also seeks sealing of trial exhibits, which are not public. Inner City Press immediately opposes this. As one example within this motions of limine, the government has redacted the entirety of its argument X, even the title and the page number. And as to trial exhibits, see for example Judge Jed S. Rakoff's order in U.S. v. Wigand, 20 CR 188, JSR. Here, there, Judge Rakoff ordered the U.S. Attorney's Office to make trial exhibits available to the public at large. While this was done, belatedly, in U.S. v. Parnas, it was refused in the current U.S. v. Cole. It cannot be refused in this case. Also, Inner City Press understands that the listen-only call-in telephone lines available so far in the case, there may be an attempt to discontinue them. The court should take judicial notice of continuing COVID-19 issues, including people's understandable concerns about congregating even in so-called overflow rooms. Be aware that the District for the District of Columbia still allows public phone access to all criminal proceedings, even those held in person. That should happen here. The loss of First Amendment freedoms, even for a short period of time, unquestionably constitutes irreparable injury. Elrod v. Burns, 427 U.S. 347, 373, 1976. Inner City Press will cover the trial, and all that comes before and after it. Court case cast and Song I, Song 2, Song 3, 5th Song, November 27th Song and now December 4th Song. On October 18 the U.S. Attorney's Office opposed their request, saying that the voir dire questions should be asked by Judge Nathan, and that there should only be sidebars on sensitive questions such as those that relate to sexual abuse and media exposure. Full letter on Patreon here. In a conference on October 21 on that as scheduling issues, Judge Nathan denied a request to seal. Inner City Press live tweeted it here, podcast here. On October 22 the draft jury questionnaire was unsealed and Inner City Press has immediately published it on its document cloud here, including have you or a family member ever supported, lobbied, petitioned, protested, or worked in any other manner for or against any laws, regulations, or organizations relating to sex trafficking, sex crimes against minors, sex abuse or sexual harassment? Photo here. After the death of Jeffrey Epstein in the MCC prison, on July 2 acting U.S. Attorney for the SDNY Audrey Strauss announced and unsealed an indictment of Maxwell on charges including sex trafficking and perjury. Inner City Press went to her press conference at the U.S. Attorney's Office and asked, doesn't charging Maxwell with perjury undercut any ability to use testimony from her against other, bigger wrongdoers? Periscope here at 23:07. Strauss replied that it is not impossible to use a perjurer's testimony, but how often does it work? At 3:30 p.m. on July 2 Maxwell appeared in the U.S. District Court for the District of New Hampshire, before Magistrate Judge Andrea K. Johnston. Inner City Press live tweeted it here. Also live tweeted bail denial of July 14. Here. In the July 3 media coverage of Maxwell, media all of the world used a video and stills from it of Maxwell speaking in front of a blue curtain, like here. What they did not mention is something Inner City Press has been asking the UN about, as under UNSG Antonio Guterres with his own sexual exploitation issues, exclusive video and audio, it got roughed up and banned from the UN. Ghislaine Maxwell had a ghoulish United Nations press conference, under the banner of the Terramar Project, here. On July 5, after some crowdsourcing, Inner City Press reported on another Ghislaine Maxwell use of the United Nations, facilitated by Italy's permanent representative to the UN official Nikhil Seth and Demir Dossal, who also let into the UN and in one case took money from convicted UN briber Eng Lap Seng, and Patrick Ho of SEFC China Energy, also linked to UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. At the Ghislaine Maxwell UN event, the UN Deputy Secretary-General was directly involved. List of some of the participants on Patreon here. Inner City Press has published a phone of Maxwell in the UN with Dossal, here, but the connection runs deeper. Dossal with 25 years of UN involvement was on Terramar's board of directors, one of only 5 directors, only 3 not related to Maxwell by blood and name. The directors, Ghislaine Maxwell, Christine Molina Maxwell, Stephen Haft, Christine Dennis Nand, Amir Dossal. Inner City Press is publishing this full 990 on Patreon here. Dossal has operated through the UN Office of Partnership, with Antonio Guterres and his deputy Amina J. Mohammed, here, and the links to the world of UN bribery, including Antonio Guterres through the Gulbenkian Foundation, runs deeper. More to follow. Antonio Guterres claims he has zero tolerance for sexual exploitation, but covers it up and even participate in it. He should be forced to resign, and or have immunity waived. Terramar has been dissolved, even though Maxwell's former fundraiser, Director of Development Brian Urisic still lists the URL on his protected Twitter profile, also here. But now Inner City Press has begun to inquire into Ghislaine Maxwell's other United Nations connections, starting with this photograph of another day's, or at least another outfit's, presentation in the UN, here. While co-conspirator Antonio Guterres has had Inner City Press banned from any entry into the UN for 2 years and a day, this appears to be in the UN Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, chamber. We'll have more on this, and on Epstein and the UN. Watch this site. The case is US v. Maxwell, 20 CR 330, Nathan. To find out more, please follow the links on screen and in the description. Together, let's make sure justice is served.